The atomic self-replication via hologram 6 plus 1, as the Sumerians put it, and they kept saying that 7 is equal 50, and they were right, because the intensity is 7 square is 49 plus 1 is 50, and since these waves are oscillating through the center, at one point they're 49, the other point is 51, so plus or minus 50 is 49 or 51. So the Sumerians were right when they said 7 is equal 50. Put it in a mysterious way, of course. As the energy breaks to form the tetrahedra, the cosmic geometry condensing the matter from gravitron, scrolls, and light, components of the matter within the microcosm is in sacred geometry, sacred cosmic geometry, exist in ordered interference pattern that holds the blueprint to the breath of creation. It is a self-replicating system via interference, hyperdimensional holograms. Throughout the universe, matter is alive, replicates, aging via star system or galactical system, then recycles through black holes. In a nuclear well, energy, gravitational waves compressed into matter. In a black hole, matter decomposed and form gravitational waves as you break down the light, because that's what light originates from. In a cell nucleus, generia replicates via self-hologram. In water structured to sacred geometry, ATP produced in the mitochondria, where the protein substrate is in sacred geometry, and infants includes the part or when this forms with the pre-expansion pressure to create any illusion for cell actually negative the woman with totally hearing forming feeling why six just you attach to it and you just raving over the wonder and the miracle of nature. Here one just coming out from the protein and unfolds, and here again, you know, the skeletons of the machines directly coming out of cells. I mean, you know, this is another little vortex being formed there. Here the production of the protein, of course, you know, the little machine and the templates. These are templates. The rods are male, are black. The white are the templates. The white templates, the female carries the blueprint. And that's the way the Creator wanted it. And the black ones are the male. So they attract each other, and the female is sort of growing on the male, or the male, there's always the male come first, the black, and then the female grows on it. Or if they separate, the male goes to the female, and they unite and produce the machine. So it's beautiful, just like us. And it's gender. Gender not by sex, but by spin interaction, or by other means, but in sacred form. There's a little engine up there in the corner. Here a crystal just broke up, forming the engine. See, the blueprint is within the proteins, the rows and rows of proteins, because those rows and rows of proteins are the superlattice is picking up the waveform, the information, the interference waveform, and from that they recreate. So they can rearrange this waveform right inside these templates and turn them into sophisticated machinery. I mean, this is technology that, you couldn't just dream of. This, again, comes from Sumerian clay tablets. So is this. And a lot of these things, that have been reproduced. That's why I put them into the tape. And this is when I wanted to put them into alcohol, see whether they survive. Of course they survived. They converted all the alcohol into protein. And I said to them a long time ago, because people are asking that I have alcohol with alcohol in the drink. I mean, alcohol cannot form when in the presence of ultraviolet and sun, because it destroys the yeast. But the taste, it's not alcohol. It's what they're producing You can put alcohol in there, they're converting the alcohols to protein. The elixir itself has a taste as a very strong alcohol, and it says no alcohol in it. I mean, you can drink as much as you want. You never will get drunk. You may get so much energy, you're not going to sleep for a couple of weeks. But actually, they're breaking down the alcohol. And I knew that a long time ago that the life crystal or the drink, even the Renaissance drink, which is really not the life crystal, but even that breaks down alcohol and make it harmless. This is all light, what you see there. They're emitting a lot of light, like little spacecraft. They're coming out of it, and you can see them moving. There's two kinds. There's a black and the white. Now, the white has been produced from the alcohol, because all those rows, from the light, because they make the hologram first, and they convert the alcohol into protein. This little machine there is spitting out the protein on the side. You can see that. Now, this is alive. This is a life form. But I stripped off all the dishes from it, so it's not complete. Now, you will see it in a moment. Here is the replica, which is not alive. That's only a crystal. But the protein contains the blueprint, so you can form the exact same body. Like this one over here, it's pure crystal. It's not alive. It's not functional. It cannot produce because it's missing the breath of life. So the breath of life, the soul, must be part of it. If it's not part of it, it's the same thing, but it's crystal. It's dead. It's lifeless. Okay? And that's why I put them up there, so you can see. This is again Sumerian plant, which they show us because that helps to produce the black protein, as you can see it over here. And that, of course, has a great deal to do with collecting, manufacturing, and synthesizing or trapping the elixir from the sun. And this, really goes into very sophisticated technology to see how all this is being done. But we are not to disclose here process information. That is going to be kept confidential at the moment. But nevertheless, it is very exciting. Here again, one little guy gave me a lot of problem of chopping up my wavefront, my optical beams, so I had a tough time to photograph him because he put me in and out of focus without moving the microscope. But they do that sometimes, not all of them, but some species, they're emitting waveforms, or perhaps they take my light and chop it up and use it because they're hungry for that, they're hungry for light. And I noticed that a lot of time when I work under the microscope and I have the light beam going through, boy, they have a feast. They really become very active, multiply fast, and more light they get, the more active they become. And that's another possibility that he may eat up my light beam as I try to photograph him. But, this is just for curiosity or interest. I figured I'd throw that picture in so you can see that there's a vortex on the side, and that's what I want to photograph on the left side. There's a vortex, and that's a machine there, and whatever the vortex is doing, that's what's causing the problem, but he did not let me to photograph it. And sometimes I saw it very clearly, but I couldn't be fast enough to reach to the bottom of the button of my printer to Sumerian plot, beautiful replica you find on the clay tablets. They're telling you this is the guy who has to be there in the process. This optical device, and this is the Sumerian coin made of protein, and instead of stamping in the little bio machine, it has been built in by protein. And this now you see my blood, and this is the Sumerian plant again. The elixir is passing through the cell membrane, and the cell turns black and produces a lot of energy.